Justin with the Podcast Dojo. So today on Abandoned Locations, we're going to be talking about Madison Square Mall. Not a request from anybody, but just something I wanted to talk about. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in.
Step as we go, there are all kinds of tripping hazards throughout the mall.
Officials of the mall say its greatest single attribute is tenant mix. In other words, once this mall is completed, there will be something here for everyone. Over 140 novelty shops will encompass 5 major retail outlets: Sears, Pizitz, Castornot, Parisians, and JCPenney. The mall is complete with escalators and an elevator, a plus since there is more than 1 million square feet of space in this 2-level structure.
As expected, the new Madison Square Mall is going to have a definite economic impact, millions of dollars in revenue to the community and thousands of jobs for the local unemployed.
We anticipate an opening sales volume easily over $100 a square foot, probably closer to $150 a square foot, and then approaching $200 a square foot in a mall of this caliber would not be unreasonable, say 2 or 3 years out.
With the number of stores that are here, how many people are we talking about employing?
Several thousand people, and at Christmas time that number could double.
There has been some speculation that the Madison Square Mall will not open as scheduled. However, officials here told us today that at exactly 9:30 a.m. on the date of August 1st, this mall will be open for business. In Huntsville, Alton Patton, WAFF 48 First News.
Madison Square Mall was a 929,993 square foot mall in Huntsville, Alabama, opening on August 1st, 1984. Opening day was huge for this mall, including an appearance by Miss America 1984, Suzette Charles, who helped open the mall. There were not only stories of people spending an hour to find parking, but even just getting out of the parking lot was difficult. There were 5 anchors: Sears, JCPenney's, Pizitz, Castornot, and Parisian, and with Yielding and Blocks as junior anchors. Like most big malls, anchors did swap out over time. Pizitz was bought by McRae's in 1988, and that was eventually converted into Belk. Also in the same year, Castornot became Dillard's. Yielding closed in 1993. Blocks closed and became The Limited, and then a Victoria's Secret. Parisian converted to a Belk in 2006, and the Belk and McRae's closed up and stayed closed until the end of the mall's lifetime. There were several businesses outside of the mall, including Macaroni Grill, a Holiday Inn, Lone Star Steakhouse, Steak and Shake, and a Touchstar Cinema Theater. Macaroni Grill and the Lone Star would eventually leave. 2 renovations would happen to the mall, the first in 1994 and the second in 2006. The mall did very well from the 80s to the early 2000s. It was after the renovations in 2006 that things started to go downhill for the mall. Crime in the surrounding area increased. A man was robbed in the parking lot in 2012, having only his cell phone and wallet stolen. Also in December of 2012, a riot started in the mall over the new pair of Air Jordans. Police were called and mace was used, but there were no arrests made. In 2014, a fight broke out in the parking lot when a woman was caught shoplifting by a Belk employee. Cell phone footage of the fight leaked online. In 2015, a woman was robbed at gunpoint in the parking lot, but thankfully she was unharmed. In 2011, Dillard's converted to a Dillard's Clearance Center. Belk moved to Bridge Street Town Center in 2014. Also in 2015, the mall would be sold to Grove Huntsville LLC for $5 million. There were plans to redevelop the property, but Sears, JCPenney's, and the Touchstone Theater started a petition that got well over 1,000 signatures overnight. This prevented redevelopment, for now. In summer of 2016, the interior of the mall began a liquidation sale that went until January of 2017. At this point, the only thing left was the Sears and the JCPenney's. JCPenney's announced they would close January 28, 2017. Sears announced that they would close January 29, 2017, making them the last anchor and store to leave. Sears did announce they would return, however, there's no confirmation whether or not the JCPenney's will return. This is where the redevelopment comes in, and of course why I said Sears would return. The plan was to create an outdoor multi-use shopping center called Mid-City Huntsville. This would include hotel, residential living spaces, shops, and restaurants. Sears is going to return on a much smaller scale. Well, that is of course depending on how the company does as a whole. Demolition began on February 6, 2017, with the mall being totally demolished in April of 2017. So I have to say, despite the problems this place had with the social economic decline, you know, the way it survived is pretty impressive. But do I think anything could have necessarily saved it? Well, maybe. I think it's quite impressive that this mall survived as well as it did. People have said security here was bad, and maybe it was. But at the same time, at least there were never any fatalities. Well, at least any fatalities that I read about. However, I think an outdoor shopping mall works better, as I mentioned in my last video. And I'll use another example. Cloverleaf Mall in Chesterfield, Virginia, which is another mall I've mentioned on here a couple of times, closed and was immediately redeveloped like Madison Square Mall was. The area near Cloverleaf Mall has way less crime and looks like a much nicer area. So I hope that Mid-City Huntsville has great success. And that was Madison Square Mall. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you guys have ever been to Madison Square Mall, definitely comment below in the comment section and let us know what you think. Thanks and have a great night, everybody.